Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's reading on toxic family members, or perhaps your whole family is toxic and dysfunctional. Anyway, today's reading is going to ask the question why? Why are they so toxic? Why are they so foul? What's the reason behind it? That isn't to say that we expect them to change. We know that they won't. But, it is what it is. We just want to know why. Last night, actually, before I was falling asleep, I just kept getting this message coming in about one. It was almost like spirit wanted to just push it into my subconscious that no weapons against us shall prosper. That was the first one, and the second one was whatever they intend for evil, God intends it for good. And it was this reassurance that we have nothing to fear if we continue to pray, if we continue to stay on our path, if we continue to live out our purpose that we are being directed to do, or wherever we are on that path, then we have nothing to fear, that we will be protected, and that God will always find a way to use whatever evil that is intended towards us, but he will find a way to use it for good, to elevate us. And so whenever an injustice or whatever occurs, I always try to remember to ask and to pray to be elevated out of this, to ask for better people, better situations, things that I'm more deserving of, right? And just to continue to maintain that high vibration and closeness to God or the spirit. So anyway, we are going to get started. We have 4 piles to select from. First pile 1, Larimar. Pile 2, Pyrite. Pile 3, Black Tourmaline. And pile 4, Citrine. So go ahead and use your intuition to select a pile. The timestamps will be posted down below. Pile 1. Okay, so let's get started on your reading. I will say that this is one of those readings that where, we ask spirit a question and the answer is pretty much like, don't worry about that. Put your focus over here. So I will start off by saying that, particularly with this 7 of Cups right here, it's like talks about like, okay, there's all these things that you can be looking at and worrying about. Particularly the question was why are they so foul? Why are they so toxic? And it's like, we could sit here and imagine and think about all of these reasons why, but in the end I'm really brought to this snake right here, and it's almost like this is sort of a distraction and something that's deceiving you or taking your attention from what it is that's really going on behind the scenes with God, right? Which is what we're going to get into about being initiated with this otter right here. Initiations, be open through this transitional time. And you see how he's just lying down and just floating through the water and just trying to go with the flow of it all. And so I get the sense here that everything that you are experiencing, particularly in your family, and it could just even be with other people as well. This is really a time where you're being invited. This is like an initiation, okay, for attaining and spending time alone, or at least taking time out. We have 2 of the 4 of Swords over here, right? Just taking time out to be alone, to get into this meditative state, to start receiving information from the cosmos, from the universe, from God, from the spirit, whatever you want to call it. And this is not about thinking. This is about receiving. So it's about clearing out and settling into just ourselves so that we can receive this information. that we need, because it looks like it is something creative that wants to come into you, or it's some type of inspiration wants to come in for you. And so this definitely has to do with connecting to higher levels of consciousness, because over here we have God, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And then you see how this image is up on these clouds, and there's this circle behind here, and I'm almost taking it as like the zodiac, or the sun being at the center, and then everything else sort of revolving around it. So which ties into look to the stars. It's in reverse right here. So again, it's this circle again. So it's really also about tapping into the cycles. So astrology, maybe familiarizing yourself with astrology, and how that plays a role in your day-to-day life, or the cycles of the moon, the phases of the moon, how that is affecting you. And just realizing that there's with Ananda light here, this has to do with higher levels of consciousness and awareness, and things like that as well. So it's really just about expanding in some sort of way outside of the day-to-day, illusion. This card is also about illusions. And, right here I'm being pulled into this, all this glittery type of stuff over here. So I'm taking that as like the illusions that we perceive, or like even just the things that we think we're supposed to be doing while here. You know what I mean? And it's again this heaviness with the Ten of Wands, like the way she's carrying all these wands on her own. It's like having to use her own strength alone. Meanwhile, you can use these natural rhythms, these natural cycles of the moon, of the stars, the support of God, tapping into these higher levels of consciousness through meditation, through seeking just these spiritual higher, here where she's like seeking advice or seeking spiritual aid or help through this character here while she's on her knees. So it's also about setting your intentions too, right? Because a lot of times the answers will come to us in meditation, but what we pray for, what we ask for, that's like a lot of times, we'll want certain things, we ask for it, but then we have to take the time also to be able to receive it, right? And this is a great depiction of the masculine and the feminine within ourselves coming together into union to make us whole. So it's about the masculine like pushing forward, being driven, the feminine receiving. So especially with creativity and bringing things down to earth, manifesting things that are in alignment with who we are, what we are being called to do, comes from, this inspiration. This divine inspiration, take inspired action. So it's like, again, she's looking up, getting inspired, and then taking action. So that's the feminine, this receptiveness that we're talking about over here with this meditation and just clearing space, making space to be able to receive this information, these downloads, and then rooting it into the earth with courage, and just kind of having this, I'm almost seeing it as like this back and forth. It's like this dance about receiving and then, implementing, receiving and implementing. Because right now it's like there is some inspiration, some passion, something creative, something that will really, light you up in some way. Creatively, or something that you're just gonna love, that spirit is trying to bring in for you to do. And this is the type of stuff that you're not on your own to do. You don't have to use all your resources and this heaviness. It's like, man, so, and I think it's interesting because this question was about family members and like why they're so toxic, and it turned into something totally different, right? And I feel like with this card, I could relate to this where we're very much taught to rely and be in our masculine at all times, right? And you have to carry everything, you have to push everything forward, everything is up to you. It's like, where is the feminine? Where is this meditative state, like to really connect with God and the Spirit, so that we are guided on what to do, so we don't keep creating the same stuff that we've been creating over and over. Because if we are creating from our subconscious mind and we aren't taking the time, it's almost like this programming is going to keep looping the same script over and over and over. And whereas this is like something new that the divine wants to bring in and earth, and have us sort of be the vessel to do that, and we need to like take this time out to be sure that we are creating something new, if that is what we want. And most likely it is what we want, because we are here talking about this toxicity and wanting to step out of it. So this, like, I'm getting, like, we have the Page of Cups here too as well, twice. And so this is really about, like, and here the inner child. So the Page of Cups, it's really about creativity. It's about the inner child. It's about just creativity. And again, one of the characteristics of the page is she is, it reminds me of like certain artists, like they tend to be very withdrawn, introverted, spend time alone. And that's sort of when they're at their best, because, that's just how they are, right? I don't know what they do alone or on their downtime, but to me, they're just like those artists who are just very introverted, spend time alone. They have a whole process to what they do. They just function better when, and they seem like they do, God does speak to us a little bit more directly when we are alone. And so here, even, and this is just a confirmation of what I just said with this Knight of Cups and God here side by side, is like, it's like an offering. It's like God is coming in to offer you something of a higher, from a higher dimension, a higher consciousness. And he wants you to sort of get into these cycles and these natural rhythms, and, maybe spend some more time alone, and really remember, tap into that inner child of just that openness, that imagination, that creativity, as opposed to thinking here about, what is going on sort of with some, these people that are sort of, it's almost deceiving us and distracting us from what God wants. And sometimes it's like, I feel also too the need to say that, sometimes it's like when things are starting to go wrong on the outside or in relationships, it's sort of like, Spirit saying, okay, just take a step back, maybe spend some time alone, maybe disconnect for a while. It's like Spirit's trying to get your attention in some sort of way. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say here. Take inspired action. Yeah. Yeah. And we covered all of this. So this is really, I guess I'll end it with this, and just saying this is really just, maybe perhaps moving from having to do it all on your own and rely on your own resources, and in this masculine, to spending time and creating space to be in your feminine and receive information, receive downloads, receive inspiration, so that you can begin on a new journey, on a new pathway. and see where that takes you. Okay, so this was a little different than we had expected, but it is all good. I hope that was helpful for you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hi, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. So I said this to Pile 1 as well. This is one of those times where you ask Spirit a question, like, why are they so foul? And we end up getting slightly a different answer than what we had anticipated, or it just moved in a slightly different direction, which is always a good thing because, you know, Spirit is in control and wants us to focus on, you know, things. You know, we are seeking his guidance, or his his guidance. So, you know, sometimes we are taken off from we just got to go with what we're given. Okay. So with this, you know, why are they so foul? So the answer here is really about you and how to regulate yourself and your emotions, your life, your boundaries, and the things that you need to implement when faced with these types of scenarios, situations, regardless of who it is. So we're going to start with calming the waters, okay? Right here, and it's peaceful self-regulation. And you see her here with these antlers, sort of tuning in. And I just get the sense that with water too, like I'm just getting this sense like it's really about your own emotions and really validating it for yourself, self-regulation. You know, it's your responsibility to care for yourself, to regulate yourself, to decide. And sometimes we can feel powerless in situations, but this is a reminder that we're not powerless in these situations. And you know, it's like Spirit is almost saying here, it's interesting because this happened in the other pile too, where I used 3 tarot decks and the 9 of Pentacles came out 3 times, 1, 2, and 3 over here. And then the Ace of Pentacles came out twice over here. So it's like we're like doubling up and tripling up over here. So that's very significant. And the 9 of Pentacles is about feeling very abundant and luxurious. And it isn't just about material things. It's about on the inside. She feels vibrant and full of life. And so in reverse, it's like the complete opposite of that. It's like feeling devoid of those luxuries. And with the 5 of Pentacles too, it's like this poverty. It's like a sense of poverty. Within ourselves, within our minds, within our surroundings, just feeling really, really low about ourselves, our environment, everything like that. And so a big part is, you know, with the 5 of Pentacles, it's really about your thoughts, right? And how these manifest into real things. And so I get this sense that like had we stayed on the question, or the question we had asked was like, why are they so foul? Why are they so toxic, right? And so if we continued down that path, we would have, you know, probably had more thoughts that were in alignment with that, versus looking at like, how can I regulate myself? You know, how can I calm my waters? And really looking to what we're inspired to do, to find more peace within ourselves, within our emotions, and really taking ownership and control. Because the Queen, I said the Queen, but maybe she's relevant to this too. But the 9 of Pentacles, she's very independent, you know. And it's like, how can we make this upright? How can we feel independent? How can we feel luxurious? How can we feel abundant in all areas of life? And so it's like we're being asked here, or you're being asked here, to slow down and really tap into what it is that you need to calm the waters, to calm yourself, you know, in these situations, and recognizing that you are in control regardless of how you may feel that you are out of control. So, you know, one thing is like, for example, boundaries, like having boundaries. And sometimes our boundaries aren't respected. Sometimes our voice is not heard, because these individuals choose not to hear it, or they don't care, or whatever the case is with them. Because with chanting, this has to do with the throat chakra, right? You could see it just coming up, you know, and it's like maybe this is part of it, is not feeling like your voice is heard, not feeling like you can express yourself, or so that ties into this, to this feeling, this internal like lack feeling. This it's just a heavy, disconnected, unaligned feeling, right? Because here it's like you see how you have to be aligned, like, you know it's like for it to come out through your throat, it's like all these other areas have to be clear, and then it just kind of moves up, right? So this is about alignment, tapping in and receiving information as to what it will it take for you to be at peace, and what for you to be happy. Because even with this, it's like happiness is the key. I'm hearing that Pharrell song, like, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. And so it's like finding your happiness, finding your truth, and sometimes that means with this Eight of Water, Eight of Cups in reverse, is having to move on, the need to move on, seeking more from life than what you are expecting, a spiritual quest, choosing to make big life changes, a change in priorities, leaving home. So the part that stands out a lot is seeking more from life than what you are experiencing. So sometimes you do have to leave, as hard as that is. With it being in reverse, it shows that you don't really want to leave, right? Or maybe you feel like you can't leave, or there's a whole bunch of other things that are holding you back, because it's like maybe there are some good things that you are going to give up on. Like he's leaving this chest of these cups, and he's only taking one with him. And maybe in your case you won't even be able to take any, but it's like a new beginning. And it's like, sometimes when you don't know, it's like fear of the unknown. You don't know, you just know that something's majorly missing, and it's keeping you in this poverty mindset. And when you're in that mindset, it's like there's nothing you can do to overcome it, regardless of what you have, what material things, what blessings you have. You are not able to experience the blessings you have and to really appreciate them, like this Nine of Pentacles. Like you just won't be able to feel it. You won't be able to experience it. And so that's why it's so important, I think, to really determine, who gets to stay, who gets to leave, what you're willing to do. And, because love is so important. Love, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. And sometimes we have to love people from a distance. We have to walk away so that we can love them. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's opportunities here. Maybe this is financial, because it's like we have the Ace of Pentacles here. So maybe this is financial. It's like I don't know how to leave, or I can't leave because I don't know financially. That's like something holding you back, right? And it's like, I don't know. I just get the sense that, like, if Spirit is asking you to leave, like, I mean, of course you're gonna have to do, take this how it resonates, but there, like, when you get into alignment, when you get into this happy place, it's like you are able to really connect, and like you are able to receive inspiration, or opportunities will come in for you once you align. It's like these things will move and come in easily for you, because you'll be able to see it. Because here it's like you're so disconnected. So it's like when you're experiencing all these things, it's like such a block on your blessings, right? Like you won't even be able to experience it. So I know it can be scary at times, and everyone has to do what works for them, but this is just a reminder that happiness is the truth, happiness is the key, and it's like, how are you gonna factor that in, and see what you're gonna do about it. And always remember that you're very powerful and you're very capable, and your mind is as well, and that you can create your own reality with the help, or co-create with the spirit, and it's like here, it's like showing that like spirit wants to bring in this new opportunity, these new financial material things for you to embark on, for you to invest in. The Seven of Pentacles is about investment and the hard work and having patience to build something, right? And it's like over here, I almost sense like it's like a poor investment. This is like a poor investment to continue in this situation, being in a place where you can't be heard, where you feel just like no matter what good happens to you, it's you're never going to experience the happiness around it, right? Because of the people around you, and it could be family, a lot of times, especially when God has something else for us, especially something financial, he will start to weed out people who do not deserve to be around you based off of things that they've said behind your back, based off of things or how they've treated you, throughout this whole time, because he knows that if he brings it in for you, they're going to be the first ones to grab at it and pick at it and things like that, because, a lot of them are opportunists, and that's just how it is. So, especially, it's funny because this pyrite, this is a stone of abundance. So it's like, this really just confirmed what I just said about, it's financial things that want to come in for you. And, it's a spirit saying, no, not around these people, not around these people. And he wants you to feel this way so you can start putting up boundaries, because whatever he's bringing in for you is like, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. Ace of Coins in reverse if you don't, because it's like other people will take advantage and take it. And God wants you to enjoy it, wants you to have it, and share it with the people who are deserving, people who are uplifting you, people who are contributing to your happiness, and you, of course, are contributing to theirs as well. It isn't this just dysfunctional thing, right? And so that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. And so also too, it's like, don't be afraid of taking this step. I mean, because here it's like you can also be afraid of missing out on this opportunity, and just, because of fear, right? Because of fear. So anyway, that is your reading, pile 2. I hope it was helpful. Take care, good luck, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Hi, and welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So, as I said with the previous 2 piles as well, is sometimes when we ask Spirit a question, we don't necessarily get the answer that we were expecting. And this is one of those situations where the answer that we are getting is more to, I guess, keep you on track, as opposed to going deeper into why, other people are the way that they are, kind of thing, like why they've disappointed you, things like that. So here what I'm seeing is, that you've definitely been through a lot with new moon in Leo in reverse and shine. It's like you've just been through a lot, and I just get the sense that your self-confidence isn't very high right now. You're experiencing a lot of disappointment over how things turned out here, with the 4 of Cups, and just like, this sadness, this disappointment, discontent over the way things played out, why certain things didn't work the way they did, why people acted this, why people weren't helpful. Like over here, I'm being drawn to, and this could be the toxic family members. It's like, you have your dreams, you have your aspirations over here with your spiritual career in reverse, or things that it's like you've made a lot of progress. Okay. Like I could see that you've made a lot of progress in going after what it is that you want. And it's like now there's a spiritual career on the horizon that you've been thinking about, that you feel like perhaps you haven't started it yet, maybe you're very early into it, or maybe you're just thinking about it. And with the Page of Cups here, it's like it's like you don't have that experience. You're at the very beginning of it. And so it's a difficult time, like these sorts of transitions that are being made, and it's like you want to walk away from this sense of disappointment, with the Eight of Cups here. So walking away. So it's like you're having a hard time perhaps letting go of, or not even letting go, but like understanding. Here we have the Ace of Swords, or the one of Ace of Air. So this talks about, and in reverse, it talks about like not having clarity, not really understanding, just not having understanding towards like why things played out the way that they did, like why things hurt you, why people weren't helpful towards you when you've done your best to please them, to do what you can, And so, I have a couple. I feel like I'm being pulled in different directions, but perhaps that's how you feel. It's like you're trying to like think about it, and it's like you go over here and then you go over there. And so I'm just gonna start with Star Mother Arrakis right here, and you could see her face in the stars over here. And this 23 is like a 5, so I'm taking this to be your star mother. Okay, so different from your actual mother. Perhaps this disappointment comes from your actual mother, and like how much you've pleased her, but perhaps didn't get her help or her support. And so just it's like this is just like a reassurance I'm sensing from your star mother. So your star mother it's like she's overlooking you, and it's like this sense of unconditional love through conflict, especially being next to this card of the blessings of Al-Hakim. So Al-Hakim in Arabic is it's like one of the attributes of God. So it's like one of the descriptors of God, and it means the wise one. And so 40 to me represents like the age, like, when I think of Moses, and like, it's like the age of spiritual maturity and wisdom and things like that. So this is a card of wisdom. So it's like not really being able to understand the wisdom of God, of why things, not even God, but just the wisdom behind why things didn't work out the way that they did. And perhaps you're just still in the middle of this journey, right? You're in the middle of this journey, and it's like, with your star mother, it's like she's just here, when you don't have clarity on why, when you don't have understanding on why, and you just are having a hard time wrapping your head around it. And it's like she's here to, I just feel this really loving energy coming from her, so that you don't beat yourself up. It's like she doesn't want you to beat yourself up. She doesn't want other people to beat you up. And perhaps like it's something that you do now, or it's like perhaps other people bullied you, perhaps other people didn't support you, and so it's like now you get into these things of like, or these modes where you'd sometimes do it to yourself, and it's like, it's like it's like a punishment for being yourself. Like, I don't know why I'm getting that, because it's like with the Eight of Cups in reverse, it's like not wanting to change, not wanting to walk away from something that isn't right, isn't for you, It's like you still want to hold on to it. And it's cups, so it's like there's some emotional reason or pull to stay where you are. Whereas here with the free spirit and the horse, give yourself the space and freedom to express your creativity. And it's not just your creativity, it's like an expression of yourself altogether. And it's like this part of you wants to be wild and free and to really be who you are. And I get the sense here, like this is standing out, heightened psychic abilities. So perhaps you do have this very psychic nature to you as well. And intelligence with this dolphin, very intelligent, psychic wisdom. Here, sensuality, feminine wisdom, and passion. And so this again, with your intuition, with psychic abilities, and it being your passion, again, it ties into the spiritual career over here. I'm just getting the sense of like, perhaps sometimes it's like you struggle between, this feminine wisdom, the spiritual wisdom, or maybe not having all the answers, and then going into, because here it's all swords, it's like this mental aspect, and not understanding, not having clarity. And it's like almost like with this Three of Swords, I'll get back to this, but this just captured my attention. This is from the Before Tarot. So the Before Tarot is like a snapshot of what happens before, like from the Rider-Waite, right? So in the Rider-Waite deck, these swords are like jabbed into the heart, right? And so it's about sadness and sorrow and heartbreak and things like that. So this is the moment before that happens. And it's almost like I'm getting this sense that, because this is something new, it's like you're preemptively anticipating this to be a sorrowful thing to continue to take the next step. Or is perhaps this is just where you're at, or maybe you're experiencing some disappointment right now with your family or with things, and it's causing you a lot of doubt in yourself, right? And it's like you're preemptively thinking it's not going to work, that it's going to go bad, like because you've been disappointed in the past, because perhaps nobody's helped you, things didn't work out in the past. And it's like, maybe things didn't work out in the past because spirit has something different for you in the background, as depicted by this angel that has something else for you. And a lot of times it's been the case that especially like for me, I know like I'm an emotional person, and so it's like sometimes I feel like spirit has a way of disappointing me and using my emotions and negative emotions to steer me away from something, because it's like my mind will find a way to stay somewhere where I've outgrown it. My mind will find a way to excuse someone, to forgive someone, to let something slide, let something go, until it gets to a point where my emotions can't take it anymore, or some situation is created like that. And so it's like using disappointment to direct you, and sometimes that is part of the wisdom here, and so it's like don't be preemptive in thinking you don't have experience, so this may not turn out well, or it's like don't do that, for the things that you create. Try your best to just, I mean, it's easy to say don't do that, but just be mindful of how that could completely defeat you with the Ten of Swords right here. It's like just automatically you can end up like stuck in a corner, right? And when I say stuck in a corner, it's like being defeated, stuck at a dead end in a corner, based off of your thinking. Just, it's like it starts with that one thought, that one negative thought, and it goes to the second and to the third. And it's like, I'm just getting this sense of like, the devil, and like you giving him an inch and he takes a mile, right? And so sometimes it's like we have to be very careful with our minds, and to what extent and when to cut certain things off, So also too, with nature in reverse is like, with the purple here, I'm really sensing like, the crown chakra, and the green is like very healing. And then 11 right here is the master number, spiritual number. So again, more spirituality. So the purple here, so this is the crown chakra. So this is very a creative business, a spiritual business, and it's like, having this connection to the stars. And again, I think with nature is really what will help you also to connect to this feminine wisdom, your intuition and things like that, and will help to keep you grounded as well. Because with this in reverse, it's like sometimes having such an overactive crown chakra, we gotta root it down. And perhaps this is also a double meaning that whatever is in your mind right now, with the spiritual business, is something that you can ground into reality. And with this black tourmaline, it's really about absorbing negative energies, and just negative, and just having protection. And so, perhaps that's also what nature can do for you. But I just want to remind you one last time that you have come a very long way, and that this has been a long journey for you. And that thing just made a noise at this time. So I take that as confirmation as well. So just be confident and be proud, and perhaps even look back at where you started and how you've evolved like over time, and let that be something that energizes you as well. Okay. So that is your reading, pile 3. I hope it was helpful for you. Take care and good luck. Bye. Pile 4, welcome to your reading. So, why are they so foul? This is interesting because the other 3 previous readings that I just did, Spirit took us on a detour. But in this case, we're actually going to go into why they are so foul. Okay, so we'll start with chop wood over here. So right here, right away, 42. I'm thinking the number 6, harmony. So disharmony over chop wood. So this just has to do with like putting in work, putting in the legwork, putting in the effort, right? And within reverse, it's like they don't want to put in the effort, the actual effort it takes to get the job done. They don't want to put that effort in, a lot of the things, I mean, we all know things take effort. Instead, it's like we see this beggar card. Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. So it's like they would rather manipulate, that's what I'm getting, is manipulating their environment, manipulating situations, manipulating people in order to get what it is that they want. Because by the looks of it, what they are projecting from the innermost part of their mind is not getting them what it is that they want, right? Because they're not putting in the work. They don't want to put in the effort. And it's not that they don't even want to. I think that they really struggle to, for various reasons. But let me explain what I'm seeing here first before I get into my theories as to like what's going on. So unfinished symphony is like there's something missing, it's unfinished. They're not able to complete a task, they're missing notes. There's the harmony isn't there, the balancing isn't there, I'm just thinking of music now, and there's, I don't know, I don't really know about music, but it's like there's the harmony, there's the this, there's the that, and it's like it's not blending together, right? It's not blending together correctly. It's like their life is missing components, and they don't want to make the effort to correct it. They don't want to put in the work that is required. Perhaps they're willing to put in other work, but not the work that is required. And so with moderation in reverse, this is the root. Is this red or is this orange? I don't know. This is some of the lower chakras, and moderation. So in reverse is like, I just feel that they are, and again, a 5, conflict, challenge. So they're very challenged when it comes to moderation. And when we're talking about moderation, I'm talking about, self-control. Like, it's like they're extremists in the way that they think, right? With the Ace of Swords right here, it's an extremist way of thinking. Also, not just extremist, but doing things in moderation. It's like there's a time, whether it's, when we think about addictions, for example, I'll use the example of addictions, like whether it's food, whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever the case may be. or anything. It's like, not being moderate with it, like going to the extreme, starting to depend on it or rely on it, or giving into a certain, like, to our lower desires, as opposed to, and then just staying in that loop, as opposed to having temperance, having being moderate, having restraint, self-control, discipline, all of these things, in order to see something out through to completion, especially with Unfinished Symphony. It's like maybe they just go through life just starting this, starting that, not finishing this, not finishing that. It's because, they're not tuned in with, again, moderation, the natural rhythms, the natural cycles of life, of their cells, of their bodies, whatever the case may be. And it has to do with the way that they think and the way that they function. And with this abundance card, I just take this as they want everything all at once. Even their thinking is like, how, like, when you want to correct something, or you want to fix something, or you want to work on something, you have to do it, in installments. Like, that's how things work for the most part. Things that take effort or time, or you kind of have to go little by little. You have to manage, and you have to be happy with that. You have to be content with that. You have to, with tenderness, show compassion and forgive what needs. It's like you have to be reasonable. You have to be compassionate. You have to be understanding. You have to be able to keep yourself motivated. Be grateful. Like, okay, I did this today. I made this little bit of progress, blah, blah, blah. Whereas it's almost like a greed I'm getting over here. It's like a greed. And it's coming from their subconscious. It's like, well, this should have already been done. It's like, they don't have compassion for others. They don't have compassion for themselves, kind of thing. And so it's like being out of touch with the natural rhythms, the natural cycles, what their body is able to withstand, And so it's like this sort of like lack of restraint, lack of, it's like a lack of being in sync with the natural cycles, with, even with this water and this flow, holding on to things, like, forgive what needs to be forgiven, say, like, it's almost like, what's an example I can use? Say something didn't work out, they'll be like having a hard time accepting that it didn't work out. And so that will set them back, instead of being like, okay, well, that didn't work out, let's try this again, and then taking the steps. It's like, no, well, I'm behind, and it's like, it's this type of mentality that causes them to act in excessive manners. Do you get what I'm saying? And so this is like deep in their subconscious. Here both you see them, it's like there's a sleep to this, right? Like the High Priestess, this is like about the self-conscious. Her eyes are closed. The Ace of Swords, it's like what is projecting onto what they are creating. So like the Ten of Pentacles is like the full manifestation of what our mind and our effort has created into the physical realm. So it's like what they are projecting from like the depths of themselves, of their brain, of their mind, of their self-conscious, is not really what they want, right? And this comes from, and they're not aware of it. They're not aware of it. So perhaps that even heightens the problem even more, because now they want you, they put strain on you. They act out towards you, instead of really starting to look inward and start to slow down, right? Even here with the Lovers card, you could see this, so this, being the super conscious God, the conscious mind, the masculine, and the feminine, again, here as the subconscious. It's like she's down, and like, she's down for the count type thing, you know what I mean? And he's here like trying to offer, he's like, oh, like he's trying to get stuff done. He wants things to happen, but she's like, no, I'm staying right here. I don't want to get up. I'm going to stay. And it's like, it's like, how do you retrain? How do you reprogram your subconscious? And it is, you can do it through your conscious mind, right? But you have to be focused on the subconscious, as opposed to focusing outwards, which is what it looks like they are doing, is they're depending on others to the exclusion of their own effort, right? And so And so, yeah, so then here it is. And part of this is, so here it is that they're manifesting things that they do not want. It is completely upside down, right? Their manifestations are upside down. With the Hermit in reverse, here is like the Hermit, he's a very introspective sort of person. With him in reverse, it's like they don't want to look inward. These people are very outward looking, they're very wanting to look outward as to the cause of their problems. They will never, again, it's like the Hermit is humble, okay? You have to be humble for this. You have to look inward for this. You have to be able to spend time alone, make space for it, see what is really within you, what's within your subconscious, see what comes up, and it's like they don't necessarily want to take that time. They don't want to take that time to discover what's it within themselves. What are they projecting out? Why are things not going? Why is it that what they're creating, what they're manifesting, isn't what they want? It's like they don't want to take that time to do that. Instead, it's like they want to work with others. Like they want to work with others, like with the Three of Pentacles. Or maybe sometimes they just want to watch other people work. Like these two here look like, they're watching this guy work. So this is supposed to be a card of collaboration. So again, since we're talking about not wanting to put in the work and putting, depending on others to the exclusion of effort, the correct effort on yourself, it's like they're just watching him work. And it's like they're probably telling him like, oh, do it like this, do it like that, as opposed to starting to uncover, like with the High Priestess here, we have her in reverse, right? So it's like instead of uncovering the secrets, or I want to say the word secrets, but I don't think that's the right word, uncovering what is hidden in their own subconscious, and stop fighting it. Stop fighting it with this Seven of Wands. See how she's like trying to fight off all these other wands that are coming at her? Like it's not supposed to be a fight. This is what they are projecting, right? This is what's being projected from their subconscious mind into their reality. This is what they're creating, and then they fight it, as opposed to looking inward and then changing it, right? So this is what they're doing. And so it's like, it's not for them to fight. It's like, they have to stop fighting it. They have to stop fighting it. They have to receive from the divine, okay? A new inspiration, a new idea of a new hope of what they can do for themselves, and what action they need to take, conscious action they need to take to, bring up their subconscious. Oh, I just had a thought too. When we set our intentions, because this is like, this Ace of Swords is about intentions, right? It's like, it's what emanates from our minds. But so it's like when we set an intention and we put that out to the universe, right? It's like, it sends all these signals. You see all this math. It's like sending it out, right? With this, sending out the message to the divine, to the superconscious. And then it's like, okay, now things want to start manifesting. Things want to start happening into our physical reality. But we have to upgrade our subconscious, our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas. There's that aspect. And then there's the aspect of being in tune with the natural cycles of time, of rhythm, and being and being in flow with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's I feel like I lost my train of thought a little bit. But it's like having this new lease on this experience, because it's like you do have to put in the work, right, to shift yourself, to shift your subconscious, right, to start aligning, right, with this. Look for fairies is like, get into alignment, right? They have to get into alignment. Anyway, all of this stuff is hard work. It's really not, I don't want to say it's hard work, because it's like we're guided through it, right? But the thing is, it's like a moment of surrender. With the Seven of Wands, it's like, stop fighting. It's really about surrendering to the divine. And, and part of that surrender means using your conscious mind and your conscious effort in the way that you are being directed to, so that you can get what you want, so they can get what they want, right? As opposed to using, taking the shortcut way of it, not wanting to put in the work, right? And just depending on others so that they don't have to do the work themselves. So this is part of the reason why they are so toxic and just so foul, because they're not getting what they want and they have to use manipulation. And they refuse to humble themselves, right? Because surrendering means you have to be humble. You have to be patient. You have to go with the flow of the natural rhythms and cycles. And so, and you have to be open-minded. You have to really look at yourself. And so sometimes it's really difficult for some people to do that. It's like there's something missing from their toolbox. And it's like they don't want to see, like, even right now I'm looking at this, you could see the face, you could see a face that's here, and it's so subtle, and it's almost like, I don't know, I just get this sense of the divine as well. So this is like what they're going through, you know what I mean? It's a pretty shitty place, I will say, because I mean, even when you think of the idea of a beggar, it's someone who has to beg, and it's like, when we're dealing with the divine, and when we really are in tune and aligned, it's like there's no begging. I mean, there's so much abundance, real abundance, not us trying to manage and control and all these. It's like part of the illusion, right? And it's like we get to stand on our feet, when we are in tune with the divine. But we have to train ourselves. We have to train our subconscious, and we have to be willing to let go of the programming of the past. And a lot of times it's like, no, they don't want to do that. It can be painful. It requires, again, healing with this whale. When I think of the whales and the noises, it's almost like that they make, it's like, I think it just sends us like this, is it sonar? I don't know what it is, but that noise that they make, and it's like this healing vibration that's sent throughout the water of the ocean. And I feel like, the water that's within our own bodies, it's like there's this healing that has to go through it, in order for us to be tapped in and tuned into the divine in that way. So, it's like if you're bitter, if you're, there's so much that you gotta let go of, and this is not easy work. And so, we see this in family. It's like maybe too, because they also feel that, oh, well, I could just it's just so much easier to be toxic and dysfunctional, to be honest. But it's really not. It's not. It's easier in the short term, but long term, it's just not easy. And I don't know. It's just people just get so caught up in the illusion. Anyway, that is your reading. I got to take that phone call, so I hope that helped. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.